this, Jeremy, this is a very important booking for you. This was something that I know that you were waiting for a long time. So I want to give you the opportunity to put him over.
All bookings are very important to me, Joel Pearl, but I do love this man very dearly because he comes on FMC and he graces us with his terrible basketball takes. He was wrong about everything this year.
See what I mean? You're already batting 1,000.
So if people can't see the backstage when I do this stuff to pop everybody when they're backstage, he was wrong about everything this year. I was correct about the Denver Nuggets. I would love my credit for that. But you can see him on Fightful TikTok. You can see him on his own personal TikTok. And I don't know about most importantly, but you can see him on NBC Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge tomorrow, July 18th. It is at 10 p.m. Eastern on NBC, and then it's streaming the next day on Peacock. Biggie will be there tomorrow as well. He is Professor Nick Harrison. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, Jeremy? Hey, Joel, how are you? Joel, I would have preferred you to do the intro because you wouldn't have talked about.
See, nobody likes when I do the intro, Joel.
No, but you got to understand, Nick, I don't have the same rapport with you yet that you and Jeremy have. Yes. And I so desperately wanted that little slice of just personality involved in that introduction.
Well, you know, he's true. He's not wrong. I was wrong about a good bit. Well, I wasn't wrong about the Lakers, though. I told you that the Lakers are going to be trash, and the Lakers were trash. I was not wrong about that. And I'd rather give you the credit than your homeboy. So there you go. Is that an Arnold Palmer? Are you having a nice Arnie Palmer?
No, it's just sweet tea.
Oh, it's just sweet tea. Okay.
Yeah, it's just sweet tea.
And congratulations on your Thunder doing well this season. I mean, so shout out to you, Jeremy. You
look like we might be halfway decent this year.
It's all right. You know, the youth. But thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. We're done with the basketball talk now. Thank you guys so much for having me.
That's a different show. Nick, talk to us about Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge because you're on FMC to start the basketball season. You were kind of teasing things of like, got a project I'm working on. Think you guys will like it. Can't say anything. Hopefully it all comes to fruition. Then when I saw this announcement, I was like, let's go, Nick. Here we go. I'm excited about this. So tell us how as much as you can, like how this all kind of came about and details behind it.
Well, I have loved Hot Wheels since I was a child. You know, as a kid, you play with them. You have the Hot Wheels track. If you grow up with a certain type of parent, you remember those Hot Wheels tracks very well because they're imprinted on your backside. But we loved playing with Hot Wheels as kids. And then coming up a little bit later, you know, as an adult, watching my kids play with Hot Wheels and, you know, looking at the collector's side of it all. So Hot Wheels have played a big part in my life. And the opportunity came around where they put out this announcement online saying, you know, if you're a big Hot Wheels fan, we got this show that you'd be interested in. Apply here. So I filled out the application and did all the deals. And here we go. You know, just did the interviews and made it through the process by, you know, just crossing fingers, man. And just the opportunity to take part in something like this is just amazing. And I'm very thankful for that opportunity.
Where do you store your Hot Wheels? Like if you're doing the collector stuff, like do you have a case or anything like that, or are you like everything's out in the open, the kids play with it, so do I? Like what's the deal?
Well, if you're collecting, you have two sets. You have the one that your kids play with that are out everywhere that you step on with your bare feet and almost injure yourself when you're over 40 like I am. And then you have the collector stuff that goes in the case, and you keep the case and you put it off somewhere really nice and safe to where the kids can't get to it, because then the day comes where they actually get into the case and they're playing with all that. And you're like, these are not your Hot Wheels. Why are these out? Oh my goodness. Put these back. And you're putting them all back in. So yeah, you have your carrying cases and stuff like that where you keep your Hot Wheels, and then they're the ones that the kids just get their grubby hands all over. And those are the ones that we like to play with in the middle of the day.
What was the toughest part? Again, I don't know how much you could say about a lot of this stuff, but what was the toughest part about doing the show, whether it was the competition of what you had to do for something or just the shooting in general?
There was a lot of difficulties that went along with it. First and foremost was being away from my family for as long as I was, because I was gone for a month doing this show. And I was away from my wife and kids for that period of time. And it was hard. to be away for that long and to not be able to be there physically with them. Of course, we talked on the phone and we FaceTimed all the time, but to not be around my wife and kids was just absolutely gutting for me. But the competition itself is just absolutely nerve-wracking because it's a legit competition. You know, the way that the show is set up is that you're each in a garage. Every episode is 2 contestants competing against each other for the prize for that week. And you can see them building their car while you're building your car. So you watch what they're doing and you're distracted from doing what you need to do because you see them bringing in all these cool parts and putting all this cool stuff on the car. And you're like, my gosh, how am I ever going to be able to get through this? How am I going to win when I see that they're doing such cool things? Because if you've watched the show so far, and if you haven't, go back and watch it on Peacock. It is absolutely amazing. But if you go back and see it, all of these cars are amazing. Like every week you watch and you say, this car should win. Oh, wait, no, this car should win. It's such a nerve-wracking competition. And this one I can almost guarantee you is it was probably the close. I've watched all of them so far. This was probably the closest competition so far between the 2 cars. Tomorrow, myself and Michael, who I competed against. So that was one of the tougher parts too. And of course, the hours you're there all day working on these cars. I've never really worked on a car like this before. So, I mean, I've done little stuff to my car, but the work that they're putting into it is super intense and you're competing at the same time. So it's just there's a lot of tough parts about it. It was a great experience, but a lot of it was tough.
Yeah. It sounds like there are a lot of obstacles that kind of take your brain away from focusing on the task at hand. What did you kind of learn in terms of like coping skills or at least ways to focus as you're watching these people, create around you and you're trying to do the same thing and trying to be better? And also at the same time, you mentioned it, like you're away from your family and that's another kind of tough obstacle that you're overcoming. What went into that, overcoming those?
Well, one of the great things about this show is the family atmosphere that it's a part of it. It's a family show. You can watch it with your kids, but the people that we worked with, starting with Rutledge Wood, the host from The Floor is Lava and Top Gear US, just an amazing guy. Hertresh Eugene Jr., Delilah Sheck, just great people. But then the carpool that I worked with as well, they were all just, we found common ground and we bonded together while we were putting this car together. Just 3 of the greatest individuals that I've ever had the privilege of working with. And it was just so cool to be able to work with them and talk to them and have them help me through this entire experience. And I'm really appreciative to them for that. So the carpool team, the people behind the scenes that helped work on the show, they were all very instrumental in me being able to make it through this process for the length of time that I was working on it.
Big E is on tomorrow's episode. Was that by design? Of like, oh, we had Nick, we had Big E. Is there the tie-in there? Is that by design?
Let me tell you, I had absolutely no idea that was. I didn't even know that we were going to have a guest judge for our episode, because there are some episodes with guest judges, and they've had some really cool ones so far. Terry Crews, Joel McHale, Sun Kang from Fast and the Furious. I had no idea that he was going to be on that episode, and I don't know how many people actually knew that Big E was going to be there for ours. I think it was just luck of the draw, because if you watch, AQA was a contestant on one of the earlier episodes.
Yeah. And
she built a wrestling ring into the car. So if there was ever going to be a by design episode for Big E, it would have been that one. But somehow he ended up on mine, and it was crazy getting to meet him because, funny story, he already knew who I was, which was wild to me. Like, he's on set and he's like, yeah, I seen your TikTok, man. I know who you are. So it's like, there were so many people who were there who had no idea of the social media following and the wrestling content and the stuff that I'd done. But he knew. And it was just so cool to be a part of that. And for him to have already known me and say, a lot of the boys watch the videos and are entertained by him and really like him. So that, to me, I had already won at that point, and we hadn't even got it to the end of the episode. And I was like, I'm winning right now, so we're good. But no, that was not by design. I had no idea. There's a lot of people who didn't have an idea. He just showed up one day and was Big E, and it was like, oh God, it's amazing.
So let us in. When's the big collab with you and Big E? When are we doing it?
Gotta wait till after the episode, Joe.
Oh my God!
Like you gotta wait till after the episode. You can't give too much away. No, I don't know. I've been able to connect with him through social media, and he's an amazing person, like legitimately. The big lovable guy that you see on TV is not an act, it's not a gimmick, it's not a character, it's who he is, and he's just an amazing human being. So hopefully one day we will get to collab and do something. You know, I'm getting the opportunity to do that kind of stuff. You know, I just done something with Mike Rome from SmackDown. Me and Top Dollar had done some stuff. It was great to finally meet AJ in person because we had talked so much through like social media and stuff. So to actually be able to do something with him was really cool too. So hopefully there will be more in the future with myself and Big E. I would hope so. The energy, the match of the energy alone is just, if you've seen the picture on Twitter, you know, it's amazing. So yeah, let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
Nick, when it comes to your wrestling fandom, we're gonna move away from Hot Wheels for a second, but your wrestling fandom, tell our audience just a little bit background of what got you into things, and then what got you into just creating these TikTok videos when it comes to wrestling.
Well, I remember being a kid in diapers, sitting on my uncle's floor, and he was watching old NWA with like Lex Luger, Ric Flair, Sting, Nikita Koloff, Fabulous Freebirds, the Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, just the Four Horsemen, Arn Anderson, the Andersons, Tully Blanchard, Magnum TA. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on with the stuff that I started out watching. You know, being in the South, NWA, Mid-South, that's what we were watching. That's what we were into. So that fandom never really went away. It just got bigger and bigger and bigger as I got older and older and older. So the pandemic happens in 2020, and we're at home. I was a teacher at the time. I was at home, didn't have anything to do, so I just started making videos, and I see all these videos on TikTok of wrestling fans. I was like, well, this is something I could really dive into. So I started doing wrestling entrances in my bedroom. Like I'm walking onto camera doing these entrances and stuff, and people really started to like it and get into it. And then once the pandemic was over and I was back to work, I started doing them in my classroom, and they became bigger. And I'm walking into the classroom doing the entrances, and the kids are seeing it online and loving it. And because of the guidelines at the time, I couldn't do that kind of stuff while the kids were in the room. Until we start, unless we were all masked up and I had permission from the parents. So I drew up paperwork so that they could take home to their parents and the parents could sign to give them permission to be in the videos. And it's really cool. My wife is here now talking about the picture with me and Big E, saying it's the best picture ever. It is, baby. I agree. It's the best picture ever. But it was just so cool that I was able to do all that stuff and really kind of share my love of professional wrestling with the world, and have so many people reciprocate that love and say, I remember watching it when I was a kid too. I love these wrestlers. Thank you so much for what you do. You're putting a smile on our face and you're bringing light to a dark world. And I appreciate everybody for giving me that push, because if they hadn't, who knows what I'd be doing. I probably would have stopped. But I always said, if you keep liking it, I'll keep making it. So they kept liking it, so I kept making it. And now here we are.
Is there a favorite entrance, and is there a toughest entrance you've had to recreate or do?
My favorite entrance is probably the Batista. I'm still waiting on Austin Creed to answer my challenge. I'm still waiting on him to answer my challenge, because me and him going back to back on the Batista entrance, I think is just gold waiting to happen. I would say that the toughest might have been the Shawn Michaels zipline entrance, just trying to get it down correctly. So that might have been the toughest one. My favorite entrance, like I said, the Batista one. I love doing the Brock Lesnar entrance because I love the Brock hop. It's so much fun to do. I I need to do one of the ones that may end up being my favorite if I ever do it, which would probably be sometime soon. Will be Ernest the Cat Miller. Just doing because he originally in the WWE, he was the original Somebody Call My Mama. Like that entrance has been used by multiple people in WWE, but that was the original Somebody Call My Mama, and I love that entrance music. So I may end up doing and I got shoes like the cat, so I do my little dance, Ernest the Cat Miller, real quick. So yeah, that might be one of my favorite when I actually do it. And the Shinsuke when I put on all that leather that didn't fit and couldn't get up off the floor was probably my favorite. That was that. I don't know if that's my wife's favorite because she's like, "What are you doing?" Like you should see her face when I'm dressing up to do these entrances because she's like, "Why? Like that wig needs to be combed. What are you doing?" It's just it's the funniest stuff ever, man. But yeah, those are some of my favorites and future favorites.
And is your wife a wrestling fan as well?
No. When she wasn't. Now she's more into it than I am. Like the other night she's walking through and she's watching what happened on SmackDown, and she just calls Jey Uso baby. I know her. She's like, "Yeah, get him, baby." Well, I'm standing right there. So Jey Uso is baby now? Like, do I have to acknowledge him in my own house? Like, I should be the tribal chief in this house. What are you doing? So, she's into it now. We just went to SmackDown in Lafayette a couple weeks ago. We'll be there for New Orleans SmackDown a week from Friday. And, she's into it now. But I had to drag her back into the fandom.
Do you have a Seth Rollins TikTok planned? You can get the kids singing. Yeah.
I did that one. That was one of my more popular videos, was doing the Seth entrance through my classroom with the kids there. And we were all masked up because, again, this was during pandemic times. And that was when he had really first started doing that entrance music and dancing to the entrance that way and directing the crowd and stuff. So this was like back to over a year ago, almost 2 years ago, that I did the Seth entrance. And he actually tweeted it out on Twitter. And it just went crazy on Twitter when he did that, and people really enjoyed it. So yeah, the Seth, that if we're talking about favorites, that's really high on the list is the Seth entrance, because that one was just so much fun to do. And I've done that actually a couple times now because I love it so much that I've done like 2 or 3 different Seth Rollins entrance videos because I love it.
So you started the singing. I'm going to give you credit for it now that you got everyone starting the singing when it comes to Seth's entrance, because you did that first.
No, I will not take credit. Don't you do that. I will not take credit for that. I was following behind what Seth was doing, but I mean, he just I love that entrance, and it's so much fun, and Seth has so much energy, and those are my favorite entrances to do, are the ones that are extremely energetic and you can feel it like coming off the screen. Like some of the ones now, like Seth, Rhea Ripley, just such the Street Profits, really energetic and fun entrances that people do now. It's a lot of fun to do those.
Have you done any recreations of like big moments in wrestling? I think I remember seeing you do like Stone Cold stuff. Am I wrong or what?
I've done Stone Cold in the truck, driving in and doing that one. I've done Edge returning at the Royal Rumble in 2020 because I was there, and I remember like being there for it and feeling the energy of Minute Maid Park was just outstanding. And I hope to feel another moment like that. We're going to SummerSlam next month in Detroit, so I know that there's going to be some really epic moments there. So I'm waiting on. So maybe I'll do a moment from there as well. I did a duet with my buddy Derek Clark. Shout out to Mr. Clarkfella. He did Jey Uso super kicking Roman. So I duetted that video and recreated that with him. I was Roman taking the super kick. So there's that part. Had to take a nice little bump real quick, but it's so many great moments in professional wrestling that I've had the opportunity to recreate and take part in and recreate and just try to recreate that magic and that energy. So it's a lot of love there, and I can't wait to do more because there's definitely more coming. Jeremy knows about all the stuff that's on the Fightful TikTok page and the stuff that I do on my page as well. It's just there's a lot more coming, so I'm ready.
I mean,
excited.
I got two for you right off the bat. If you want, you love your bra cop, you got to do the SummerSlam from this past year with the big backhoe. You got to rent one of those and just tear something up with it. And the other one, if we're talking Brock, you got to get an old car. And you got to take the door off of that car and just throw it across the room. Don't hit anyone.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the door off of a Hot Wheels car and just sling it across the room, and that'll be Brock. And then you're tied in. Then you're tied in right there. That's what we call synergy in the business, folks. That's synergy, right?
We did it.
We did it. Yes.
Nick, my last one for you. Very important question: is the Bloodline stuff cinema?
You're gonna get us in trouble.
I'm always trying to get us in trouble. Are you kidding me?
You're gonna get us in trouble with Reg because you know Reg don't like that. I would say that it is must-see television. It is enthralling. It is deep, and it goes. We were just talking about. I have a podcast called The Pay Window that you can listen to on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And we ended up doing a part 3 on the Bloodline, and it got so long that I had to cut it into a part 4 as well, which would be this week on Thursday. It just talking so much about everything that has happened because one of my favorite matches of all time is Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. I Quit Hell in a Cell 2020. I love it just for the pure drama of it all. And just how that was a huge part of where we are now with the Bloodline story, and that match and the match at Night of Champions the month before go directly into the match that they're about to have at SummerSlam. Because if you go back to where Jay was then and where Jay is now, and everything that's happened in between is just such an enthralling storyline to dig into and be a part and really just pick apart and pour into. So it's really cool to watch. I'm not going to go as far as calling it cinema because, that's that by the IWC standards, that is a super overused phrase because now everything is cinema. Wrestler stubs their toe. It's cinema. I can't believe it. Wow, that was such a dramatic toe stubbing. How did that happen? But it's everything can't be cinema. But if there is something in wrestling that's cinema, we can say that it's the Bloodline storyline because it's just absolutely brilliant.
Well, I would say this interview was cinema, and I would say that if you want to catch some more cinema with Nick Harrison, go check out The Professor on Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge. It's going to air Tuesday night. That's going to be July 18th. Tomorrow, if you're watching us live, it's going to be 10/9 Central on NBC. Check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Nick, go ahead, plug everything else you got.
Here are the plugs. Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge tomorrow, 10 Eastern, 9 Central on NBC. Big E is our special guest judge. It's going to be amazing. There are a couple people who have been on the show so far who are here in the chat right now. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for the support. Share it out. Let the people know that they need to be watching tomorrow night. Also, Mr. Professor 318 on all social media platforms, over 1.5 million followers on TikTok. The Instagram is growing daily. Also have a Facebook page to go and follow as well. Go watch the videos and like them there. Shout out to all my Gen Xers. You guys know where it's at. The We Rock Together merchandise is in my link tree in my bio. Twin City Designs sells the shirt. It's about the message of unity through music because music really can bring all of us together. So if you go to my link tree in my bios and all of my socials, you'll be able to get access to this shirt right here. It's a hot seller, and we just had to restock more shirts, so make sure you go out and get that. The Pay Window with Prof and Sloan every Thursday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. I also have some episodes up on my YouTube page. So if you go and look at the Professor 318 on YouTube, you'll be able to find all of those videos there. And the podcast had a new episode last week, got a new episode coming up this week. Make sure you go and check it out. And I'm sure that I'm forgetting something, as I always do. But Fightful. Yeah, don't forget about the Fightful TikTok page. Of course, I'm on Fightful. Got to talk about that. Fightful TikTok page. Please go and check that out. Growing daily and great interviews from everybody on Fightful, and some from Sean Ross Sapp. He's okay, I guess. So that guy, whatever.
Didn't show up today, coward.
Who of course he was what he went to a Justin Bieber concert over the weekend.
Yeah, something
and
like that.
Wasn't able to come in, something like that. He went to some teeny bopper concert. He's a Swiftie. No, don't trust Sean Ross.
Okay, wait a second. We're not going to bury Swifties here. Hold on.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. But make sure you go and check all of that stuff out. And if nobody's told you today, you are loved, you're appreciated, you're important, you're more than enough exactly as you are. And always remember to be great. Thank you guys for having me on. I greatly appreciate it. Oh, ESPN Radio New Orleans. I work for them too. So go check all that stuff out. So yeah, there's that.
Oh, I gotta ask one more basketball question.
Oh God.
What are we doing in New Orleans with the Pelicans? We trading Zion, we trading Ingram, we trading McCullough. What's happening here?
Just for the record, thank you for asking a Zion question that's about basketball.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because
that other stuff.
We've had that problem over the past couple of weeks. Thank you for asking a Zion basketball question. I mean, last year, if it weren't for, and you know this, we joke around, but if it weren't for all the injuries that they had to Brandon Ingram, to Zion Williamson, it probably would have been a lot better, because when Zion was actually healthy, they were the number one team in the Western Conference. So if he can stay healthy, if he can keep his mind on basketball, and if Brandon Ingram can stay consistent, they can be a threat in the West this coming up season. But those are all a lot of big ifs, because if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. So we will see how that goes. But we're praying for the Pelicans right now. Praying for the Pels. # pray for Pels.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it.
No, she has not entered the chat. Do not put that Gregory on us. No, because she will show. You say her name like Beetlejuice, she will show up. Don't do that. No, please, God, no. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Nick. We appreciate it. Everyone, go watch Nick on Hot Wheels Ultimate Challenge tomorrow. It is at 10 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Big E is the special guest judge for it as well. You can check out Nick on all the social media as well. Now you can just go to Twitter, Mr. Professor 318, and all the link tree and everything is there for everything
and
he
Threads.
does.
And Threads. Don't forget about Threads. We're all on. We should all be on Threads.
We're on Blue Sky. We were on Hive. Then we left Hive.
We're on Hive. Hive and Spill. Get out of here. Blue Sky and Threads is where it's at, kids.
There it is.
There you go. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you guys. Appreciate
you. Thank you so much.